graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
You know, if I could think of something that defines piracy in gaming, it would have to be the game called Somari. Oh god, just take a look at this. Oh my god. Look, I tried to get up there. I did not see anything up there. Alright. Oh. Shit! I hope the person who designed this fake game is in jail right now. He should be than in prison. He should be hanged. He should have his head cut off. Look at the way he runs. He runs like he has some kind of hemorrhoids up his ass. Shit! Sancho Panza! Sancho Panza! 2007. Exactly 15 years ago, I played a game called Somari, a terrible, unlicensed Famicom port of the original Sonic the Hedgehog with Mario taking Sonic's place. And now, 15 years later, in 2022, I'm doing it all over again. So let's kick off my YouTube channel's 15th anniversary with this special episode of Bootleg. I've certainly come a long way, haven't I? 15 years! 15 years of reviewing bootleg games from the Famicom, Super Famicom, Game Boy, and many more. Ranging from terrible, to strange, to fascinating, but the overwhelming majority of them thus far have been pretty shitty. So to celebrate this momentous occasion, I figured it was time to revisit an old game. And I've wanted to do this for a very long time. Now before anyone gets the wrong idea, no, this is not a remake and it's not going to replace the original. In fact, you can still watch the original in all its glory by clicking the top right in this video. I'm not doing what I did during my 5th anniversary. Instead, this is more of a look back video, if you will. Now why am I covering Somari again? Well, okay, so here's my review of Somari from 2007, an absolute classic, especially if you're a fan of Allie-RX. A stupidly hilarious video that never gets old, released at the height of the angry game reviewing era. So, what exactly was wrong with it? Oh, nothing really. I still get a kick out of it from time to time, and it was a lot of fun to make, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. But the thing is, I never actually reviewed the game. Yeah, I never actually reviewed it. It sounds weird, because if you watch the video now, it feels more akin to a Let's Play, and even then, I never even beat it or got far into the game. Now you're probably thinking, is it really worth playing throughout its entirety? Like, we know it's that bad. And that video was more than enough to prove it. Listen, I wholeheartedly agree. 1000% agree. But at the same time, there's this morbid curiosity in me. I just want to know what the rest of the game is like. I really do. Like, what does the ending look like? What about the special zone when you collect at least 50 rings? And how much worse are the other zones, like the infamous Labyrinth Zone? And I'm sure some of you wanted to know what was beyond the bed and bath of what you saw back in 2007. Well, what better way to kick off this anniversary year than to shed some light on what's on the other side? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a look back at Somari. Yep, it's just as bad as I remember it. And that rendition of the title theme just sounds so wrong. The beat makes it sound like Sonic is having a stroke just as he's about to begin his adventure. If you've seen my classic Somari review, you know why it's so bad. But if you've never seen it before, or if you just want me to refresh your memory, well, here you go. The very first problem you'll notice in terms of gameplay is the controls. It's kind of hard to describe it, but these controls feel both stiff and slippery at the same time. On top of that, this game is so buggy, even Somari's running is bored. This game has absolutely no sense of physics and momentum. For example, when you start running, he moves way too slow, then suddenly, 3 seconds later, he's running fast, and if you let go of the direction on the D-pad, he'll take forever to stop running. This is very bad if you suddenly see a spike trap or an enemy ahead of you. Based on how bad the controls are, you're going to be crashing into enemies a lot, especially in the later stages. Speaking of enemies, you notice in Green Hill Zone, the very first stage, you get hit a lot by the buzz bombers in the sky, and you won't even see them unless you jump before they attack. And trust me, they shoot their projectiles a lot, and I mean a lot. So you better have at least one ring or else you'll die. The really bad controls and momentum are even buggier in the later stages, but I'll get to those later. Wanna know something else that absolutely sucks about this game? Wanna know the big swift kick in the balls this game has? There are no checkpoints! Yeah, you heard me right. No checkpoints. So if you get really far, so close to the goal, but you die just before you complete the zone, guess what? You gotta start all the way back at the very beginning. Yeah, you heard me, the very beginning. Now that is kicking the balls.
Bullshit!
Oh, and you know what else? No continues! This game doesn't give a damn if you hate the controls, the glitches, the absolute brokenness of Somari. You lose all your lives and it's back to square one, you little maggots. Now, if you remember in my original review, I got stuck at the spike pit at the end and I basically gave up from there. Fortunately, this time around, I was very careful to avoid that trap. And since I avoided that trap, I was able to successfully complete Green Hill Zone despite all the other problems this game has. So now we get into the million-dollar questions. How bad are the other stages and what are they like? And what do the special zones look like when you collect at least 50 rings? Normally when you complete a stage and you get to the goal, you see a red exclamation mark. When you collect 50 or more rings, however, you see an 80s anime version of Mario at the goal. I'm gonna be honest, that rendition of Mario looks pretty damn cool. And if you think the special zones are the same as Sonic 1 on the Genesis, well, this might actually surprise you. Or not, since this is an 8-bit Sonic game. Yup, that's right, the special zones are based on the zones from the Game Gear and Sega Master System versions. The ones where you bounce on the springboards to collect all the rings. And you know, these stages are surprisingly fun. In fact, these are the only parts of the game that are actually fun. If only they made the entire game just the special zones. Oh, and about what I said earlier about no checkpoints and no continues, there's another thing you should know about collecting rings since I brought it up. You don't gain any extra lives when collecting 100 rings or more. Yeah, you heard me. No extra lives when you collect rings. And if that sounds like bullshit, then that's just what it is.
Bullshit!
Oh, and did I forget to mention that even if you collect enough rings, like even 100 rings, if you get hit, Somari drops only a few of them and you're basically left with a total of 0 rings? Once again, that is
bullshit!
Moving on to the boss battle in Green Hill Zone Act 3, you fight what I like to call a handicapped Dr. Robotnik. Why? Because he doesn't even move back and forth properly. He's supposed to go to the left end of the screen, then to the right end, and back and forth until you defeat him. Here, he just goes slightly left and slightly right. I mean, you might as well just stay still and move the ball. Also, yeah, that flickering disco ball is very annoying. Next up is Marble Zone, and oh my god. There is so much pink here, and it's way too obnoxious. Look, I don't mind pink colored stages, but this shit looks way too vibrant. It really bothers my eyes. This was the stage where you stopped running fast and started to slow down in a bit like the original Sonic 1, as you have to jump on platforms more and avoid more spike traps. But good luck trying to do all that with the stiffness of the controls and the poor momentum in physics. Now here's something very strange I noticed. Remember in Sonic 1 when you would jump on some of the grassy platforms at the beginning of the stage and fire would come out as soon as you stood on it for more than 1 second? Well, here that doesn't happen. The fire on the grass here is random as all hell. Oh, and yes, the buzz bombers once again attack you from above without you seeing it. You're gonna be dealing with this bullshit for most of the game. The Robotnik boss in this zone is pretty much the same as in Sonic 1, only here he's way more drunk. Like, he doesn't properly curve when he moves from side to side. His movement is kinda like when a 4-year-old kid is trying to draw a straight line and then he messes up halfway through. Yeah, it's very weird. Moving on to Spring Yard Zone, this is probably the biggest insult in this entire game. This stage in Sonic 1 was originally known for its big slopes, loops, spike traps, and springboards. Now with how broken these controls are, do you really think it's even possible to complete this entire zone, all 3 acts, without getting hit once? I didn't think so. Like, take a look at the springboard and loop at the start of Act 1. You literally cannot go up and roll like a ball because the physics and momentum in this game just don't work at all. The only way to go up there is by jumping on those pinballs on top, and even then, you'll likely get hit immediately by that buzz bomber. That damn buzz bomber on top! And when you're going down these long slopes with the big spike balls, if you don't even try to slow down, good luck running through that shit without getting hit. Oh, and jumping high on the springboard at the beginning of Act 3? Good luck trying to get past that part without getting hit by that damn buzz bomber and crab meat. And remember when I said earlier about losing your rings even at 100? Same thing applies here. The Robotnik boss of Spring Yard Zone is essentially the same as in Sonic 1, only this is slightly modded to get around the limitations of the NES/Famicom hardware. He's pretty easy to beat here. Just make sure you stand in one of the corners as Robotnik is coming down on you with his big spike. Oh boy. I cannot believe we finally come to this point. Y'all know, in the original Sonic 1, Labyrinth Zone was a real pain in the ass to beat. Now just imagine how bad this zone will be in fucking Somari. Y'all ready for this shit? Buckle up, folks, cause this is gonna be a doozy. So you start off on the surface. Game is still shit, but par for the course so far. You'd think this won't be so bad, right? And then you jump into the water, and here's where things get worse. Much worse. You move so slow. In fact, you move so slow, you can't even keep up with the timer. Meaning you can't waste a single second on these stages looking for rings and destroying enemies. Because if you do, you're gonna run out of time just like that. Trust me when I say this. It happened to me in Act 2. I was moving so slow when I got so freaking close to the end of the stage. Guess what? I died and it said time freaking over. Now ain't that the biggest fuck you in the whole entire game? But it's not just the slowness that's the problem. Coupled with the stiff controls and poor physics, this whole entire zone feels like you're goddamn handicapped. Actually no, this is far worse. I'd rather be in the wheelchair with a neck brace than have to deal with this stage. There are some moments where you have to be very precise with your jumping. because there are very high platforms where Mario or Somari can't jump quite high unless you run back, run fast, and jump at the right time, at the perfect time. And good luck trying to do that here. Also, the great platforms that are supposed to elevate you don't work most of the time. God, this level just pisses me off so damn much. Fortunately though, Act 3 has no boss battle, and Robotnik doesn't show up at all here until the very end. Phew! So after all that,
Bullshit!
we're finally at Starlight Zone. It sucks like the rest of the game, but compared to Labyrinth Zone, this is a godsend. I feel like I breathe a huge sigh of relief here. Well, there's nothing else left to say here. Everything here is more or less the same as the earlier stages. The only thing that's different here is the Robotnik boss battle. The whole seesaws and him dropping spikes at you, completely gone. Instead, he drops little balls of fire from above, leaves for a bit, then comes back to charge at you, then repeat until you finally defeat him. Again, pretty easy to beat. You know, despite the whole game's frustration, I'm noticing a pattern here. All of the Robotnik boss battles here are relatively easy. Much easier than in the original Sonic 1, surprisingly. At long last, we're finally at Scrap Brain Zone. Or maybe not. Yeah, this game skips Scrap Brain Zone entirely and goes straight to the final zone. Good, because I sure as hell don't want to deal with Act 3 in this game. And as you'd expect, he's fairly easy to beat here. Just gotta be more careful here, and make sure not to touch those electric balls slowly coming down or else you'll die. And what's funny is that Robotnik here takes less hits than in the previous stages. So after playing through the hellscape that is Somari, you finally complete the game and this is all you get. The bad ending. Yeah, there's only one ending to this. There are no Chaos Emeralds to collect in this, so you're just stuck with this ending. Honestly, I'm kinda glad. Can you imagine trying to collect the emeralds in this environment? Hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm glad Somari is more forgiving in this regard. Also, I love how he says, "I will be back." Truer words have never been spoken, and every Sonic fan knows this. So there you have it. I finally completed Somari. Is it any better than the last time I played it? Nope, not at all. It sucks!
Absolutely sucks!
It's even worse than I remembered it, in fact. The gameplay is broken, the controls are broken, it's glitchy as hell, Labyrinth Zone is virtually unplayable, and the icing on the cake? That god-awful music! The entire soundtrack sounds like it was made by a brain-dead idiot. A 2-year-old toddler with a xylophone can play better pleasing music than that garbage. Hell, I've heard better music in fucking Christmas cards. All that being said though, you have to admit that this game is technically impressive. Keyword, technically. A straight port of a 16-bit Genesis classic and on the Famicom/NES, which is less powerful than the Sega Master System, is quite an accomplishment. But, despite their efforts, it's still absolutely terrible. Oh, and you want to know who developed this game? Hummer Team and JY Company. And y'all know who those folks are. They made a lot of shitty Famicom bootlegs, many of which I've previously reviewed, including the NES port of Super Mario World and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 3. And did you know that there are more versions of Somari?
No! God, please, no! No!
Oh yes, people. It gets even worse from here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sonic 3D Blast 5. Or simply Sonic the Hedgehog, which is essentially Somari but with Sonic instead of Mario. Yeah, I'm sorry, this sounds all confusing to normal people. Now, I already covered this game in the Sonic 3D Blast 5 episode way back in 2012, exactly 10 years ago, but I'm going to talk a bit about it again since this episode is all about Somari. Plus, I got a bit further this time, though I didn't complete it like I did Somari. For whatever reason, this game starts at Spring Yard Zone instead of Green Hill Zone. When I first played this game, and I let the demos play on the title screen, I noticed the Green Hill Zone demo came after the Spring Yard Zone demo. At that time, I thought the stages were rearranged, but when I beat Spring Yard Zone in this version, I went straight to Labyrinth Zone. So there's no way to play the first two zones? Well, actually there is. You see, you have to access it by some sort of cheat, but I'm not going to waste my time doing that with this pile of garbage. Other than that, and changing Mario to Sonic, it's exactly the same as Somari, which means it's just as shitty as Somari. And I gave up on Labyrinth Zone this time around because there's no way in hell am I gonna go through that bullshit again. Though I think this game's controls feel a little bit more responsive. Just a little. There's multiple versions of Somari out there, like Sonic & Knuckles 5, Sonic 3D Blast 6, Family Kid, the Speeding Hummer, but I'm not gonna go over every single one of them because they're all the same result. None of them aren't good in the slightest bit. Man, if only there was a good version of Sonic 1 on the NES/Famicom. Maybe there is! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to report that a fan-made hack was released on the internet and it fixes a lot of problems Somari and Sonic 3D Blast 5 had. This hack is called Sonic Improvement Volume 2, but the game itself is simply called Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think this hack deserves high praise because it still has room for improvement, but despite its flaws, this version is surprisingly fun. It goes to show you that fans get the job done, not incompetent Chinese bootleggers. The controls are fixed, the physics and momentum have been fixed. It's fixed enough to the point where it feels enjoyable. Even the graphics and music have drastically improved, and both are much more pleasing. You still get the bad ending no matter what, although in the special zone you'll come across a Chaos Emerald in the end, but it does absolutely nothing. Overall, Sonic Improvement definitely lives up to its name. Now that we've revisited Somari and completed it, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. The verdict. Once again, the jury has found Hummer Team guilty for making a piss-poor version of a beloved 16-bit classic, much worse than Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis on the Game Boy Advance. Of course, I've already punished these people in the original 2007 episode with an army of 300 Spartans, but I feel that it's time for a slightly different punishment. Instead of hundreds of Spartans, I'm gonna send out just one Spartan. A Spartan that is also a god. One powerful Spartan that can go on a warpath and kick all their asses. And his name is Kratos. Yeah, go get him, Kratos. Slice him, destroy him, kick all their fucking asses. Kill them, fucking kill them, destroy them, slice them, hack and slash them all the way. Every single one of them needs to be taken down. Hell yeah. Ugh, that's what I'm talking about. Man, those old God of War games kick so much ass. I'm Allie-RX, and I'll see you on the other side. Alright, how am I supposed to get out of here? How the fuck am I supposed to get out? I keep collecting rings. How am I supposed to get out of here? He can't jump that high! Shit! I should have not fallen here! Get up! Get the fuck up there! Shit! Move it or I'll take back my Converse sneakers that you stole from me. Look at him. He's got Converse sneakers. He's got my Converse sneakers. You see what he's wearing? Shit. Stop running like you got hemorrhoids up your ass. In fact, I'm starting to feel like I have hemorrhoids. This is more painful than having hemorrhoids up your ass. Oh God. Get up! Get up! Get the fuck up there! Alright, I quit. You know what? Let him die. I want to see him die. Game over. I quit. I just fucking quit.